Good evening, fight fans, and welcome to Beatdown Promotions 9 here at the sold-out Eaton's Hill Hotel.
So this one in the middleweight division.
And if you're ready, we're ready here at Beatdown Promotions 9. And with two opponents pulling out the last minute, Sang's air of mystery just seems to grow. A philosophical guy as well as a formidable fighter with his father in his corner.
Introducing you to the two fighters. First of all, making his way to fight out of the blue corner, this is Mustafa Border.
A worthy challenge for Toby Sang, having two cancelled bouts in his past, as well as Toby Zhang. They've both been left at the altar twice by their opponents at the last moment. He's looking to make the most of this opportunity, and we know Zhang feels the feeling is mutual. As the big boys entering the cage here. And the beauty of that is you can hear every shot land, and cage side, you can feel it on the floor when the middleweights and up go to town on each other. Both fighters have a 100% finish rate.
Undefeated versus undefeated. And tonight, somebody's dough has got to go.
So my name's Toby Sang. I'm a full-time student at the moment. I work part-time in business development and I do MMA. This is my fourth fight in the cage. My first fight on Beatdown Promotions. I've fought previously on XFC. This week is where the hard stuff begins to make me a middleweight. Say Dad, with his background in karate, taught me how to strike from probably about 18. I think it was pretty eye-opening to me when Dad started to teach me martial arts. One time I did a couple of weeks here where I thought, oh, I'll get in really good shape and I'll see what I look like after that, and then I want to do an MMA fight. And Dad went, you're an idiot. Join an MMA gym, learn what this jiu-jitsu thing is, and I'm glad that I did, because I would have gotten creamed if I went straight in then. I didn't really have a complete picture of that until I joined Integrated.
The Integrated MMA team, or joined the gym about 2 years ago, and I was introduced there by my son Toby, who was a budding cage fighter, MMA fighter. He had shown me the delights of rolling and grappling, and I thought, I want to do some more. And he was running out of time, so I thought, okay, right, I need to join the gym.
Until that point, I didn't have any exposure to the martial arts, and Dad could guide me through that. So it was a real bonus to find out that my dad could fight, and could fight well.
I was going to uni, so in my 20s, I went to University of Queensland, and I trained with the Zendokai martial arts guys there. In that time, I got to know another martial artist called Cameron Quinn, who was training in a different style of karate called Kyokushin Karate. So I moved across to Kyokushin Karate when I trained with them for a while, and I got my black belt with them. 1989, with Toby's mum, we went across to Japan, and for about 6 months, I trained at the headquarters there with Masoyama before his passing. And then life took over a bit, and so I wasn't as consistent with my training, but always kept that link to it and a link to the people there. It wasn't until Toby started showing an interest in martial arts that I rekindled it in myself.
So I think when I went for my first session there, Adrian Pang, our head coach, he's a very well-established lightweight in Australia, one of the pioneers of Australian MMA. I remember looking at Adrian and saying, I want to fight. He looked at me and the way he does with a lot of kids probably and goes, yeah, it's going to be a long time before we put you in there, mate.
Even when he first started Integrated, I didn't know that he had the desire to go into the cage. I thought maybe he was just wanting to train, but then it was a little bit later on that he really expressed the idea that he wanted to go the whole hog. He wanted to be a mixed martial artist cage fighter. That didn't scare me. It didn't scare me that he wanted to be a cage fighter. I knew that Toby had the mindset of complete preparation. He'd test his proposition in his mind about his likeliness for success or his risks, and then he'd make a decision. So I knew that when he did that, he would commit himself wholly to something.
At the start, I would sit and watch the pro teams, and I thought, okay, these guys look like they can handle themselves. When I was looking to do MMA, I knew that any competition or any person I came up against would be more experienced than me. So the things that I was looking for were people who knew fighting, had experience fighting. I got invited to the pro team striking class and the MMA class after 6 months, and I thought I'd be in there on the second class. You realise pretty quickly that you're behind the pace when you start sparring with these guys, so I'm definitely not smashing everyone in the training room. I'm getting submitted all the time, I'm getting my head punched all the time. It's nothing like it is in the cage, and it does highlight the fact that the cage is different.
Here we go, our next bout brought to you. This bout will be fought at middleweight under B class rules, 3x3 minute rounds.
It's such a challenge that I've wanted to do for a long time now. Fight week, I didn't really know what I was doing or anything. I had an idea of a structure. When you know you're going to go through with something, even if you don't know how to do it, you just do it to the best of your ability, and if it doesn't work out, it's not your fault because you did what you could.
Welcoming first, our blue corner fighter, Lance Rafferty.
Lance was a one-day step-in. We were scrambling around with the promoter while I was doing my dietary cut to figure out who I was going to fight. We said to Lance, can you fight? Lance said yes at a catch weight. I said yes, and we got it done on a day's notice. I had to look at the guy and I had to think in myself, yeah, I can beat this guy, or I've got it in me to do this challenge, because I'd show Dad and he'd go, no, you're better than this guy here and here, this is where we'll take the fight. And I always went into this knowing that it wasn't a weekend football game.
Introducing his red corner opponent, Tobias Sang.
This bloke has done all the push-ups and the sit-ups.
Damn. I really hope they reinforce this cage, guys. Damn.
Tobias is ready to go.
I'm scared. I'm not even fighting him.
If you look closely at that fight, I freeze right at the start and I throw a low leg kick, and then Lance comes on with 3 jabs or something straight after, because I didn't know what I was going to do. I had this plan and everything, and in the moment we were fighting, and that's something I'd never done before.
Opponent is you don't have to worry too much.
It wasn't until I clinched up that my muscle memory kicked in and I got things started.
Recovering, good catch. Looking to get the half guard, just got to switch his hips back.
See, he's had one hand, so he's had a lot of trouble defending him there.
And
look at that.
It was just pure relief, and you see me carrying on in the cage there afterwards. It's because it's just a rush of emotions. Getting into the cage, you can't really take inhibitions with you, like what people will think of you, whether people will think you're doing something cringe or you're being over the top. I don't think you can take that with you, because I think it will weigh you down. You're seeing their pretty unfiltered version of the way I was feeling at the moment.
He holds an amateur record of 1 win, no defeats, fighting!
I knew where I really wanted to take that fight. I knew Jeremy had kickboxing experience and striking experience, and I knew I wasn't there yet, but I wanted to win. This is the MMA game. I blitzed him straight to the cage, started to grapple.
big takedown.
I didn't let go of him. I didn't let go of him till the end.
He's got double hooks and he's looking for some ground and pound in before he...
I was there pretty non-emotional in that moment, but when I was pulling on that knee bar, Jeremy started screaming. The knee just went conk. Just this really loud...
Oh, look at that. Oh, he's tapped. Knee bar, what a stoppage.
I was not going to give. It's you versus the other guy. He can scream all he wants, he can ask for mercy, but until he taps, he's subjecting himself to my full force. So.
That knee bar was almost fully extended before he was able to tap, so there might be a bit of damage done to the knee.
I've decided I want to do it again. And I get matched up with a guy called Jack Ellis from Boonshu Gym. And Boonshu is a very reputable gym, so at that point we had no doubts about the fight happening. And everything really went to plan. You always get injuries and stuff in fight camp, so I can't remember whether the build-up was smooth or not. Come weigh-in night, I faced off with Jack. I thought it was odd that none of his team was there to support him on the weigh-in night. He didn't want to shake my hand, he walked straight past me, wouldn't look at me, that sort of thing. Fight night, walking out the back, getting psyched up, everything's been building up until that point, and the promoter comes to me and says, it's off. Jack doesn't want to fight, he's not coming. And that was just so deflating in that moment. I took a step up to fight Jake Deebs because I couldn't get a fight at middleweight. Everything went well. I loved that camp because I didn't have to cut any weight. I could stay nice and plump. So we weighed in, faced off. Again, Jake had this kind of look in his eye that was obviously something he was pushing himself through to be there. And when guys look at you with an intensity, they also give you a bit of an exposure so you can kind of see into their soul. And in this face-off, yeah, I could tell Jake was a bit unsettled. I expected him to show, of course, and I got to fight night and I was equally crushed as I was when Jack Ellis didn't show. I was equally crushed with Jake. Probably even more so because I'd started to think, oh, what if it's something I've done? What if it's... Yeah, all the work you put in, you know it's not going to pay off that night. And when you get this deep in a fight camp, like to the fight night, it's like shaking a soda and not taking the cap off. Just pressure building up and up and up, and it's almost like you don't get to release that pressure. It just kind of fizzles. So yeah, it was really, really deflating.
It's a tough situation to go into that cage under the lights with everyone around you screaming and shouting, and only you and the other fighter in there, and you've got no place to hide. Having someone at the very last minute say, I just don't want to go through with it, can well speak to the mental state of that fighter at the time. You know, it's hard to know what's going through the mind of a particular fighter at any particular moment. And a lot of times, guys get into it to exercise some demons out of themselves or to prove a point to themselves. Not great for my Toby because of the things that he's had to push aside and the unfulfillment of not being able to fight and show what he can do. You have to have sympathy and consideration for the guys that couldn't do it on the night. And I hope those two fighters have been able to front up in other competitions post those nights.
I knew that thinking to myself, wondering whether my opponents are going to show up, that would not help me in any way. I needed to get rid of that doubt, and so I did.
In the red corner, his last two fights, both opponents have pulled out on fight day. 2 fight camps, 2 opponents have left after seeing him after the weigh-ins because he's an absolute monster. Holy shit, someone turned up to finally fight Toby Sang. Here he is. This is Michael Woodward.
The fashioning of the mind in combat sports is one of the most important things, I think. I by no means have completed the refinement of mindset or anything like that, but I'm getting better at it. I believe that with your actions and with your internal self-talk, you can change the way you think very profoundly.
Oh, what a body kick from
that was a big slap on that one.
Just to watch out for those strokes from Zang as well. Nice.
There are definitely guys in this sport that decide to feel no fear. They decide to tell themselves that nothing can go wrong, that they're invincible, that they're the best. I differ in that approach. I like to try to keep myself as real as possible and accept the risks. Have to have an internal compass because people will tell you all kinds of wicked shit. After I beat Lance, people were going, oh Toby, you got this. You can go to the UFC, you can be a professional fighter. They were telling me that full chest. They weren't lying, and you have to instantly be able to say, no, that's rot. No way. I love the support, because these people do mean well when they tell you these things. But as far as the team goes, Adrian's very real with his approach. He knows what fighting's like. There's no one that knows more fighting than Adrian, so he knows the risks, the chances, the upsets, all of that. He will never let you go into a fight thinking I'm invincible.